Today, the Miata is at Laguna Seca, and I'm so excited that we have finally addressed the biggest weakness and shortcoming of a stock ND Miata, which is, of course, the suspension. So I went with the 949 Racing, actually the Supermiata Tecna Coilovers with the sport springs. That's 8K front, 4K rear. You can also get GT springs of 6 and 3 if you want a softer ride. And it, of course, has adjustable dampers. We're at 5 clicks away from stiffest on the front and also 5 clicks away from the stiffest on the rear. And shout out to Track Spec Autosports in Fremont, California. They were extremely professional and excellent to work with. Got my coilovers installed seamlessly, got the alignment done, and very, very happy with their work. I'm going to be going to them regularly. Link in the description to them. The other thing they installed were the Supermiata competition hubs in all 4 corners, and those are just more for durability, especially when you start tracking the car. Not as concerning right now, given I have such low grip tires. These are Falken RT615K Plus and a 215 section width over Konig Hypergram 17x8 wheels, so I'm not really actually pushing that much grip. And I will be changing to stickier rubber as this build evolves, so subscribe if you want to see that. Laguna Seca. This is one of my favorite tracks just because growing up playing Gran Turismo, I used to run this all the time. Obviously, driving it in real life is different. I've only actually run this track twice, back in like 2020, 2021, so many, many years ago. And sitting in the passenger seat is my buddy Alex to help me nail the lines. Again, it's been a long time since I have driven this in real life. Rear end getting really loose. This is the first session with this new setup, and I was running 5 clicks away from stiffest both front and rear with the adjustable dampers. I don't have sway bars, so adding front sway bars is actually going to help in terms of finding a more neutral balance. But right now, at the current settings, it's really awesome that every input is more immediate. You can see and feel far less body roll. The rear, both on corner entry with trail braking, and also mid-corner corner exit, wants to rotate, like right here. Now, these initial laps are quite slow. Don't worry, the driving's gonna get a lot better by the end of the video. And the surprising reason is I kept turning in too early and apexing too early, and I didn't have confidence with the car at this stage in the day. Whenever you change the setup of a vehicle, it takes some time to build back up some level of confidence, some level of comfort with how the car is behaving. And I think a big reason as to why I kept apexing many of these turns too early is because I was used to the softer stock suspension, because I have tracked on that at Sonoma. You can watch those videos linked below. And you know, you have to give the input earlier than you want. You guys gotta wait half a second for the suspension to set. There it goes again, the rear wanting to step out. And because it's a smaller car with a short wheelbase, it's not gonna be as progressive as something like a GR86. So we're down to a 156.3 on the lap time. I'm trying to actually go for a sub 150 today. Again, first time in several years at Laguna Seca, and I think 150 is a pretty reasonable goal to have. If I had stickier rubber RE71 RSs, I'd go for a 144. Yep, I'm even saying in the video that I apexed that too early. And today we're running with Lightspeed track events that use the code JABAL for $25 off your next track day with Lightspeed. Carrying a bit more speed here, each time building the comfort. We can see on the Delta, I'm like 5 to 6 tenths quicker this lap than the prior lap already. And don't worry, there are many more seconds to spare. Approaching turn 10, one of my favorite corners because it is a little bit fear-inducing. A lot of Laguna Seca is a bit more simple, less technical. Really losing a lot of speed there though. I'm down to neutral. I was 6 tenths before corkscrew.
Way early. What am I doing?
Doing a poor job. Yeah, as you can hear there, I'm even talking to myself. What the fuck am I doing? And because of those last few corners being shit, I'm now 0.6 slower than my prior lap. So again, first session being very frustrated. Let's hop to the next one. 1:56.04. This is now my fastest lap from session 2. Not this 152, but the lap that I'm now starting right now. Approaching turn 2, love how lightweight this car is. The inputs, you can heel toe rev match perfectly every time. You don't have to worry about heat soak, and consumables are cheap. The perks of a lightweight car. Really getting wild back there. Now, at this point in session 2, I'd actually softened the rear to -10 clicks from stiffest. And the reason, so that actually increases the stability and the grip at the rear. However, the reason why I'm getting oversteer there is now that I have more comfort with the car because it's acting more predictably, I can push it a bit harder. And you're gonna see that by me carrying more speed in many of these corners and the lap times becoming significantly quicker. I think the first session was like a 1:55, and right now I'm at a 1:52.4, and we're already up 0.6. Luckily with this point by, we don't have to lift since this Cayman GT4 is a lot faster. It's actually a 4RS. As you can see, they're slowing at the wheel a little bit because we're getting some slip angle. Not a fan of this driver's line here. And since he's slowing quite aggressively here, unexpectedly, I pass. Again, getting a little bit of slip angle there, building that comfort with the car. The nicer thing with the suspension as well, being stiffer. See, being right at the edge there, getting a little bit of slip angle, you can find that edge more consistently, both at corner entry and corner exit. So you want to be able to dance with the car at the limit. That's a 151.9. Let's hop on to the next and final session to see if I can get a sub 150. All right, third and final session. After the outlap, did a 152.8 as you can see, and now starting to increase the pace a little bit lap after lap. Still haven't touched the adjustable dampers from the prior setting, so we're still -5 in the front, -10 in the rear. You always want to talk about the setting of these adjustable dampers from their stiffest setting, because if you start from the softest setting, it's not always consistent. We blew that apex, turned it a bit too late. So that's why I tell you -5 front, -10 in the rear. I am curious how things are going to change when I add offset knuckle bushings to get additional camber in the front. Right now I'm at -2 in the front, -1.8 in the rear, 0 degrees of toe in the front, and 1/16 in the rear. Caster in the front is also about 6.5 degrees. With the offset knuckle bushings, the OKBs, you can probably get that up closer to 7, maybe even higher than 7, while also having more aggressive camber. I'm very curious to see, though, how adding sway bars is going to change the experience of this car on track here. Shaving a little bit of time corner after corner. Can carry more speed there, didn't track out all the way. We're right now like 6 to 7 tenths quicker than the prior lap. Having to catch that rear end. But as you can see, I'm getting more comfortable pushing the car closer to the limit and getting more consistently near the limit at each turn, because you want to have a slight amount of slip angle. You don't want to do a full-on drift, but you also don't want to be full grip. That's how you're going to go faster around these corners. And as I'm getting more comfortable with the car, I'm able to approach that. We got a 150.87. I think we can get a sub 150. Pushing a little bit harder here. Getting a bit of rotation on that trail braking. Don't love the line there. Didn't quite hit the apex the way I wanted. Letting him know that I see him, but I don't want to give him a point by there. I want to give him a point by right over here, because it's a longer straight. Tons and tons of GT3s at this event today. playing around with the line here, apexing that a little bit earlier, tried a bit later, still experimenting to see what I like. Carrying substantially more speed there versus my first ever session if you rewind and look at that. That comes down to the confidence in the car, understanding its limits, getting used to the track again after so many years. Had a fun countersteer moment on this turn 9 earlier. I realized I called it turn 10 previously in the video, but that's turn 9. This is turn 10. And the last turn coming up is turn 11. I really want to get you guys telemetry because I have the pedal box, but I want you to see my inputs. And I've hooked up my AIM Solo 2 DL, but the issue is that they don't have the ND3 CPU mapped yet. So right now we don't have that. Let's go, 150.27. I got 0.3 to shave off. Brakes were getting just slightly soft, so I did a little cool down lap right here, and then the lap after that is gonna be another flying lap. And here we go, starting another flying lap after that 153.7 semi cool down lap. Check the delta, the top left corner of the AIM Solo 2 DL. I'm already 0.3 behind my best so far. Not off to a good start. Brought that down to 1.5 with a better corner exit out of turn 2. See, right there, getting a little bit of slip angle, being right at the edge. Really starting to feel more comfortable with this car here in session 3. Carried more speed in the last corner, so now we're essentially 0.3 quicker. We've already made up the gap to be on pace for a sub 150. Again, getting to that limit, dancing at the edge, still at 0.3. I know I can still carry more speed here, but it's again the fear. Got to slowly work up to it, and it was looking so promising, but we got the checkered flag, and we got to slow things down. Last session of the day, checkered flag. We were about to hopefully hit a sub 150. Cooking it a little bit there, just for funsies. But gotta slow it down, bring it into the pits. Subscribe because we're running this again very soon. I'm gonna see if, with the same exact setup, I can hit a sub 150 and what that lap looks like. The Miata is very much an overrated car, but it has very good fundamentals, and if you're willing to modify it, you can get it much closer to what you want. Is the engine fizzy and as magical as an S2000? Obviously not, but it is lighter weight. The philosophy of the Miata versus the S2000 is more weight focused rather than chassis rigidity focused, which is why the ND Miata only has a torsional rigidity of about 7,500 Newton meters per degree, which is not very high by modern standards. It's definitely way higher than the NA, the NB, and even the NC, which is like 5,500. But you look at the Z4 or the 718 Boxster or the Jag F-Type convertible, those all are like 13 to 15,000, and this is like half as stiff. That's something I'm planning to address with future mods, so subscribe if you want to see that. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.